Men over 60 who train at home are building more muscle than gym men. Here's exactly why. What if everything you assumed about where muscle gets built was wrong? The gym, with its machines, its cables, its barbells, and its benches, has been the unquestioned default for serious training for so long that questioning it feels almost unreasonable. So let me ask you something reasonable instead. If muscle growth is determined by mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and motor unit recruitment, and none of those three mechanisms require a piece of commercial gym equipment to be produced, why are we assuming the gym has a monopoly on results? Because research published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that when load is matched to individual capacity and progressive overload is applied consistently, the training environment, gym or home, produces statistically identical muscle hypertrophy outcomes. The gym did not build the muscle. The stimulus did, and the stimulus is fully portable. Let's look at the uncomfortable truth. Number 1. Mechanical tension without joint destruction. How bodyweight leverage creates identical muscle stimulus. The reason most men over 60 are told to use lighter weights as they age is joint preservation, reducing the compressive and shear forces that accumulate across decades of loaded movement on the shoulder, knee, hip, and elbow joints. This is reasonable advice. What is not reasonable is the assumption that lighter loads mean less muscle stimulus, because mechanical tension is not determined by absolute load. It is determined by relative load applied to a specific muscle through a specific range of motion. A man performing a push-up variant with his feet elevated on a couch, transferring approximately 70% of his body weight through his hands, is placing mechanical tension on the pectorals, anterior deltoids, and triceps, equivalent to a moderately loaded bench press, without the rotator cuff shear force that bar position and grip width produce during barbell pressing. A man performing a slow ring row or a towel row using a door handle is producing posterior chain and lat mechanical tension comparable to a seated cable row, while eliminating the spinal compression that heavy barbell rowing applies to lumbar vertebrae already managing the cumulative structural load of 60+ years. The key variable is not the equipment. It is the angle, the range of motion, and the progressive increase in difficulty over time. Elevate the feet more to increase chest and shoulder loading in push-up variations. Decrease the angle of the body toward the floor to increase load in row variations. Add a loaded backpack for resistance progression when body weight alone becomes insufficient. The joint-friendly mechanical tension of home-based training is not a compromise. For men over 60, it is frequently a biological advantage. Number 2. The Bulgarian split squat superiority. Why this single movement outperforms barbell squats for men over 60. Let us have an honest conversation about the barbell back squat, because the reverence most men give this exercise is not fully earned when the specific biology and biomechanics of men over 60 are taken into account. The barbell back squat loads the cervical and lumbar spine through a compressive axial load while simultaneously demanding the ankle dorsiflexion, hip flexor length, and thoracic spine mobility that decades of sedentary or asymmetrically loaded life progressively reduces. The result for many men over 60 is a barbell squat that is performed in a mechanically compromised position, compensating through lumbar flexion, forward lean, or knee valgus, that produces joint stress disproportionate to the muscle stimulus. The Bulgarian split squat, performed with a rear foot elevated on a couch or chair, requires no barbell, loads the spine minimally or not at all when performed with dumbbells held at the sides, and produces unilateral loading that addresses the bilateral strength asymmetries that accumulate in men over 60 through decades of dominant side preference. Research from the European Journal of Sport Science found that Bulgarian split squats produced equivalent quadriceps and glute activation to barbell back squats at significantly lower absolute loads, meaning the stimulus was identical while the structural demand was a fraction of the barbell version. And the balance and proprioceptive demand of the unilateral movement trains the hip stabilizers and ankle proprioception that bilateral squat patterns completely bypass, maintaining the functional independence and fall prevention capacity that men over 60 require from their leg training beyond aesthetics alone. For the complete home training system, including progressive difficulty progressions, weekly split structure, and the nutrition framework that makes home training produce maximum results, the Silver Athlete Blueprint has everything. built specifically for men 60, 70, and 80 plus. Scan the QR code on screen or check the description and pinned comment for the direct link. Number 3, time under tension. Mastery how a 4-second negative recruits twice the muscle fibers. Here is an experiment to run right now, or after this video if you prefer. Perform 10 standard push-ups at your normal pace. Note the muscular effort. Now perform 5 push-ups with a 4-second lowering phase, counting deliberately, feeling the chest and shoulders load progressively as gravity assists the descent. The difference in muscular demand between these two sets, performed with the same movement, the same body weight, and the same range of motion, will be immediately apparent. That difference is time under tension producing its muscle recruitment effect in real time. Muscle fibers are recruited in order of size under load, slow twitch fibers first, fast twitch fibers recruited additionally as the load and duration of effort increase. A rapid push-up completed in 1 to 2 seconds per repetition recruits slow twitch fibers predominantly and fast twitch fibers only briefly at the moments of highest effort. A 4-second eccentric lowering phase maintains the fast twitch fibers under mechanical tension for 4 times longer per repetition, producing proportionally greater metabolic stress within the fast twitch fiber population that responds to training stimulus with the most significant hypertrophic growth. Research from the Journal of Applied Physiology confirmed that time under tension protocols emphasizing 4 to 6 second eccentric phases produce significantly greater type 2 fiber hypertrophy in men over 55 compared to standard tempo training at equivalent total volume. Apply the 4-second eccentric to every home training movement, push-up variations, row variations, split squats, and hip hinge patterns. The mechanical tension produced by slow eccentric loading with body weight rivals the stimulus of moderately loaded gym movements while eliminating the joint compression and recovery burden that gym loading accumulates. Number 4, grip and core integration. Why floor-based movements develop, what machines completely eliminate. Walk into any commercial gym and observe the machine section. Every machine provides a fixed movement path, a supported seat or pad, and a guided resistance that removes the need for the stabilizing musculature to participate in the movement. The lat pull-down machine provides a seat that stabilizes the pelvis so the core does not need to. The chest press machine guides the path of resistance so the rotator cuff stabilizers do not need to manage the resistance trajectory. The leg press machine provides a backrest that removes lumbar stabilization entirely from what should be a whole body movement. Floor-based home training movements have none of these stabilization supports, and that absence is a feature, not a limitation. A plank-based push-up requires the transverse abdominis, obliques, and serratus anterior to stabilize the trunk against the rotational and extension forces of the pressing movement simultaneously with the chest and tricep contraction. A single-arm dumbbell row, or towel row, requires the hip abductors, core rotators, and contralateral shoulder stabilizers to resist the rotation that the unilateral load creates. The stabilizer muscles developed by these integrated demands are precisely the muscles responsible for the upright posture, physical presence, and pain-free daily movement that men over 60 identify as their highest training priority beyond aesthetics. Before the bonus point, drop a comment right now. Tell us, do you currently train at home, at the gym, or both? Type home, gym, or both below. We read every single comment and your answer shapes the content we create next. Bonus point. The kitchen counter incline protocol, the household technique that precisely targets upper chest. The upper chest, the clavicular head of the pectoralis major, is the muscle responsible for the full, rounded upper chest definition that distinguishes an athletic physique from an average one at 60 plus. It is also the portion of the chest that standard push-ups performed on a flat floor most poorly targets because the flat push-up angle primarily loads the mid and lower chest fibers. The incline press, targeting the upper chest specifically, requires either an adjustable bench set to 30 to 45 degrees or a specific piece of equipment most home trainers do not have, unless they have a kitchen counter. A decline push-up with hands placed on the kitchen counter at counter height and feet on the floor creates the identical pressing angle of a 30 to 45 degree incline press. The hands are elevated above the body, creating the downward pressing motion that specifically loads the clavicular fibers of the upper pectoralis. Counter height is approximately 35 to 40 inches, the precise elevation producing the upper chest emphasis that an incline bench creates. Add the 4-second eccentric protocol from point 3 to this movement, and the upper chest mechanical tension produced rivals a loaded incline dumbbell press at any gym. Final thoughts. The gym is a tool, a useful one for many men. But it is not the only tool. And for men over 60 managing joint health, training logistics, and the specific biological requirements of aging physiology, it is frequently not even the best tool. Mechanical tension is portable. Progressive overload is achievable with body weight, furniture, and a pair of adjustable dumbbells. The muscle does not know whether it is in a commercial gym or a living room. It knows only whether the stimulus was sufficient. Make the stimulus sufficient wherever you are. You just proved that building muscle after 60 does not require a gym membership. It requires the right information applied with consistency. Subscribe to The Silver Athlete and hit the bell. Share this with one man who has been using a lack of gym access as a reason not to build his best body. Check the description for the Silver Athlete Blueprint. Drop a like and your next video is already on screen. Go build it wherever you are. Age bold. Train hard. Live strong.